Howdy folks, we're going down the stairs into the lower level. Today John came back. He'll be here Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I'm not sure what his schedule is next week, but this was one big long wall, and it still is a long wall. But what John did is took out some studs in here, and then he put in what's called a header, which is a piece. It's about 9.5 inches thick. It's from what they call LVL material. He did the same thing over here. Took out this wall that was there, that stud that was there, and doubled it up under there, shortened that span, and then built this door. Again, taking out studs that were there and then putting in the header, because that header has to carry that truss right there. Just as over here, this header is really carrying 3 trusses, 1, 2, 3. So that's a big important job that those pieces of wood are doing now. These are 3 thick, 1, 2, 3, just because there's so much, it's carrying the whole weight of the house. Now this one's only, you can't see it very well, maybe if I get here and get a little bit of light. Yeah, I think you can see it here. It's 2. So I have to get about another 10 feet of LVL, they call that material. It's a man-made beam. So Tim Zebro is going to be coming down here on Friday to prep the area. So more than likely what we'll do is take out the temporary studs and the wood that we have that we use to seal us up for winter. We had that, you can see the building fabric on the outside. And then I put the pieces of plywood up so that the dogs wouldn't break through that when they're down here. John needed some 2x6 material, and I says, we're going to use stuff from the old house. It's free and it's here. So he didn't use all that many. I know he doesn't like to use them, but that's just the way it is. And so I used some upstairs, I'll show you, but I still have 5 pieces down here, so I really brought in more than I needed to. Today, we talked about a lot of things. The doors, I wanted to get his input on some things. We're outside in the back now. You see the geese? All I can tell you is big shit. Those things crap all over the place. But I guess that's what you get when you can't buy a lot and say I don't want geese on it because they don't know the rules. Remember I was dealing with I fixed the John Deere walk behind. It wasn't self-propelling like it should. And our Murray lawnmower, which is a 42-inch wide deck and an 18-horse motor, didn't budge at all. And so slowly but surely we did the obvious things. So we bought a new battery, put that on, at least then the motor would turn over, which it didn't before. And secondly, I changed this, I pulled the old spark plug out and went and bought a new one. Had to ask my friend Mike for a spark plug wrench, but this thing is now running again. These plants here, these are real pissers. They grow up and they have thistles, and it's rough on the dogs because they embed themselves on their fur. Today I was getting those 2x6s in the downstairs for John to use for studs. So what I did is, some of these had nails on them. These are the old roof rafters. So I de-nailed where necessary and used those there. I also, I'll show you around the doors, but I still have a lot. My intent is to use the 2x6s for the stud walls in my workshop. So we were going to have a bonfire last night. We had about 16 people over, I think, and I'll tell you, people don't drink as much beer as they used to when I was younger, but I think I stopped at 4. But you know, we had 1, 2, 3, 4 sets of neighbors from where we live. Here we had a couple that showed up, and then our friends Jim and Mary. We know several of the folks in their neighborhood very well, and we had, I guess it was 4 of them, 5, I don't know, 4 or 5, and then Linda and I. So like I say, we had about 15 people. Linda came down and she taped all these joints on our insulation today, which is really good. Here I had wired for that light, and on the outside I used some of our trim as the backer, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to take that off, and I'm going to use regular 2x9 or 2x10s for that. I just think it'll maybe hold up better in the long run. I look at everything as if, what'll it be like when I'm 80 years old? So one of the things that we need to do to get these garage doors in is we need to put a stiffener board on. So I used the old 2x6s, and what they'll do is they'll attach the track to this, and while there's 4 boards behind this, you know, they're sandwiched side by side, so the chances of hitting a joint where they're attached is pretty good. I mean, you know, it's like covering those 3 boards with a 2x6. So I ran those from the bottom up to the top there, and I put in big headed screws up there.